Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed since last time. Pharmaceutical startup jacks up price for infectious disease treatment. Martin Shkreli, the CEO of Turing Pharmaceuticals, made headlines recently when he announced that his company was going to raise the price of the drug Daraprim, which his company manufactures and which is used to treat toxoplasmosis. The cost of Daraprim was set to rise from $13.50 to $750 per pill. Response was so immediate and overwhelmingly negative that Shkreli canceled the increase, but the fact that something like this could happen at all should give us all pause, shouldn't it? Shkreli tried to justify the price hike, telling the New York Times that it wasn't about gouging patients, it was about his company trying to stay in business. Right? I mean, where are our priorities? Do we really want to be the kind of country where people can afford treatment for a potentially life-threatening parasitic infection if it means that human parasites like Shkreli have to settle for making slightly less money as drug profiteers? I thought this was America! Conservatives hold annual asshole summit. Last weekend in Washington, D.C. was the Value Voters Summit, the political conference of choice for those who find CPAC too liberal. There was the typical silliness that you would expect from such an event: homophobia, anti-abortion rhetoric, fear-mongering about the looming imposition of Sharia law, endless, shameless pandering to Christian conservatives. Kim Davis got an award. Donald Trump gave a speech where he said he liked Christmas. And he briefly held up a Bible before putting it down, presumably because it had begun to burn his hand. And Ted Cruz won the presidential straw poll, as if to drive home the point that this was an event of consequence and relevance and not just a right-wing kook convention. Nope, not at all. Congressional Republicans try and fail to defund Planned Parenthood. Now, this is a proper right-wing kook convention. Once again, Congress waited until the last minute to pass a budget threatening another government shutdown, and once again, the delay was due to Republicans in Congress throwing a hissy fit over an imaginary problem. Last time, it was the supposedly dire threat posed by the Affordable Care Act. This time, it was funding Planned Parenthood, an organization that has been the target of false accusations that it illegally deals in fetal body parts. Yep. One of my country's 2 major political parties came within a few hours of shutting down the federal government over allegations against Planned Parenthood that have been known to be false since the day they were first made public months ago. A budget was passed in time, so maybe that's a sign of progress? Like, the Republican Party is no longer an anchor dragging us to the bottom of the sea. It just kind of slows us down like a screaming, crying child that we all have to carry with us wherever we go. Forever. You know, progress. Popomania runs wild in the USA. Pope Francis visited the U.S. for the first time week before last, and I guess he had a good time. He met President Obama. He gave a speech to Congress. He must have left quite an impression on Speaker of the House John Boehner, because Boehner announced his resignation from Congress like the next day, presumably so that he can start to follow Pope Francis around like a deadhead, or that guy Vladimir who attended all those WWF shows in the 80s and 90s. Anyway, everybody loves the Pope, I guess. He's not the worst Pope there's ever been, I suppose. He's acceptable as far as popes go. Unless stuff like access to abortion and contraception, LGBT equality, and women's rights are, important to you. Hey, there were 2 more mass shootings, if anyone's interested. They both happened Thursday. The first was at Umpqua Community College in Roseburg, Oregon. 10 dead, at least 7 more wounded. The second was later that same evening at a home in Ingley, Florida. 3 dead, 1 wounded. That makes for a total of 295 mass shootings in the U.S. so far in 2015. That's more than 1 per day. But hey, at least people who want guns can get them, right? That's the most important thing. I was right before when I said I thought this was America. This is definitely America. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.